We have been doing this program for, 9 years? Almost 9 years. Never before have we had a guest on for 3 straight weeks. And as you know, this isn't gratuitous. This is because this man has been in the news, one of the top newsmakers for the past 3 weeks. And being the neurotic Jew that I am, I didn't want to ask him to come back on the show because I felt like I was bothering him for a 3rd straight week. But I couldn't help but ask because he is one half of the biggest story of the past week. He is the reigning defending UFC light heavyweight champion. He is the man who will be looking to make history on July 7th. He is the man who will be trying to cement his place once and for all as the greatest fighter in the history of this sport. He is the man who's going to try to become the heavyweight and light heavyweight champion on July 7th. He is moving up to a division where he once was 13-0, a perfect 13-0, only moved down to 205 because his friend was en route to becoming the champion there and didn't want to stand in his way, became the champion at 205. And now with essentially 1 year left in his career, as he said last week on the program, he's looking to make history in just a few months' time as he goes up against the baddest man on the planet, Stipe Miocic, for the heavyweight title. Oh, by the way, they're also coaching tough. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Daniel Cormier, who is joining us on the phone for a record-breaking 3rd straight week. DC, are you there?
I'm here, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that I've been on the show 3 weeks in a row. Now, if we were still in the place we were in before, you would have not wanted to ask me to come back on. But since all things have been patched up and we are now once again living happily and merrily, yes, I am on the show for the 3rd week in a row.
And I couldn't be happier.
Excited about it.
No one's more excited than me. I was dreading asking you. I waited till Saturday night. I was eating dinner with my family. I said, I have to ask the guy. And I proposed it to you like I have a serious problem. I think you thought I had a serious problem. I just felt really bad asking you again. But what a journey it has been for you. 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, you're in New York en route to fighting Volkan Ozdemir, trying to get your career back on track. Then last week, you're en route to the hospital to figure out what's wrong with your hand. Now, all of a sudden, you're about to fight for the heavyweight title in a few months, and oh, by the way, coaching tough. So let me start here, DC. And no, we're not going to start with Ronda Rousey, but I might squeeze one in at the end because I know you were watching and very excited about that. But at the end of Saturday night, last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, at the press conference, you said, you know what, Stipe, it's a great idea, it's cool and all, but no, I'm not really feeling it. I got Kane. It's just not for me right now. And you sort of reiterated that last Monday. How do we go from there to this point where now you are officially fighting him on July 7th?
Well, you know, when you come off of a fight like that, it's a couple of days removed, there are a whole bunch of thoughts just kind of floating around in your head. And then when it was proposed to me as reality, I was like, well, you know, I really don't want to fight a heavyweight. I don't want to interrupt what's happening with Kane. And then I started talking to him, and he was like, I don't think that they would give me a title shot right away, man. He was like, so I think it's a great idea. But you've done it before, and it's a chance for you to try to make history, and I was like, you know what, man, let's do it. Because reality, when I think of a fight against Stipe, it's a very tough fight, and it's a very difficult mountain for me to climb. But the reality was, I've always talked about competition and legacy. And when you think about legacy, if I'm able to pull this off, there's no denying what I have meant to this sport and what I will leave behind whenever I'm done. So my coaches all were on board. My teammates were all on board, from Kane to Justin Willis, another heavyweight that's in the UFC and a teammate of mine. They were all like, dude, you got to do it. And all were very confident with the matchup, and obviously I feel pretty confident with the matchup myself. So, we were all excited. So we said, let's go do this. And it also doesn't hurt that, the UFC's calling, asking for such a big fight, presenting the opportunity to do tough and also the financial upside to a big fight like this.
How's the hand? Do you have an update on it?
My hand is still what it is. On today, I'm supposed to get some PRP just to try to help the healing in the ligaments, and then I'm just going to kind of rehab this thing. I'm always a guy that doesn't like to do surgery. Now, a byproduct of being in Vegas for the Ultimate Fighter is that I'm actually going to have access to that the UFC Performance Institute, so I can do all my rehab on my finger there, which is one of the top facilities in the entire world. So it's going to be really good for me and Kane both, because I'm not sure if we would be doing the rehab necessary in town, because there's so much more to do. But because we have nothing to do in Vegas, we're going to be doing our training and also our rehab.
You're the captain of AKA. You are a wrestling coach for kids in the San Jose area. You're very proud of that. You're a family man. You're a husband. You're a father of two. You're very involved with your kids' athletic careers. You talked about this last week as well. You work for Fox. You do UFC Tonight. There's so much on your plate. How do you feel about going to Vegas for 6 weeks? How are you going to pull this off? How are you going to be a coach on The Ultimate Fighter?
It was rough. That was one of the first things I told Dana. When he asked me, I was like, my kids have so much. My wife. I said, I've got my wrestling program. I go, my thumb's jacked. I was like, I've got so much stuff going on. I don't know if I can do this. I said, the fight's interesting, but I don't really want to do the show, because I have so much going on. And then, things happen, and I was like, okay, I think I'll do the show. But in terms of me and my family, like my wife and my kids will come to Vegas on weekends, and then when little Daniel has competitions or Marquita has a competition, I'll just come home for it. It's just, I've got a great staff of coaches that are going to be in Vegas with me, and they will be able to take care of the practice, because one or two practices if I do need to travel. Both of us are coming off a big win, so 6 straight weeks in Vegas is going to be very tough, because there are obligations after you have a championship defense, and I'm sure that Stipe will have to do a little bit of travel too during that time.
So to be clear, the UFC approached you with this idea of not only coaching on Tough, but fighting him on July 7th, right? This isn't something that you went after.
No. They asked me. They were like, would you be interested? Dana asked me on Saturday night after the fight. He was like, that would be a fantastic fight. He was like, I think it's the fight. And I kind of, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But again, the well wishes of everyone close to me, from Selena to Javier and Bob and Rosendo and Kane and Willis and all my teammates and Rocco, everybody was so for it. They were like, dude, you got to do this. And it never was me not wanting to do it based out of fear. I've never been afraid. I've never been afraid to fight a Stipe Miocic. It was always all the other things that were surrounding the circumstances. And once those hurdles were cleared, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Let's do it.
So once this news comes out, everyone's wondering what Kane thinks about it, because you said before it all came out at the press conference that, he's coming back. You don't want to stand in his way. He tweets, like always, I'm going to be in the gym every day to help my brother DC become the next heavyweight champ at UFC 226. Once he wins, things could get interesting. And we are AKA going to get my belt back. And thus everyone exploded and thought, holy moly, what's going on? Is there dissension? Looking into it, trying to read the tweet a million different times. What was that tweet all about? Do you know?
That very interesting tweet. I thought it was the goal has always been for him to get the belt back, and that will never change. That's his goal. That's my goal for him. That'll never change. Once again, the decision was made after the well wishes were granted. But what if he said things make it interesting, meaning he might go to 205? Ooh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be some interesting stuff, right? I don't know what's interesting. You never really know. That's something that we know that you guys don't, and it feels good to not tell you.
So you have a plan. You've talked.
See what Kane says. Let's see if you can get Kane to tell you. Good luck with that.
I have a better chance of getting Donald Trump, Dana White, and Barack Obama in studio than I do have, getting Kane on this program. Even a text message back from Kane. It's unbelievable. This guy.
Kane with that. Say, hey, Kane, what's that tweet mean? And let's see his response.
Are you done?
I don't know. Like it's good. Look, listen. you know, read the tweet for what it is. You know, I don't really pay that much attention to the, you know, characters in the Twitter, but yeah, you know, it's always been the goal. The goal has never changed for Kane, for myself, and for our team. It's always going to stay the same. You know, we are a team, and if people think, you know, that it's like, oh my God, what's that mean? What's that mean? I mean, we're going to Vegas, you know, to film The Ultimate Fighter together.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that's that should say enough. My whole my training, I can't do this without Cain Velasquez. I cannot go beat Stipe Miocic without my main training partner to prepare me. And he's going to play a vital part in getting me prepared to win this championship.
So last week on the show, you said, come next March, come your 40th birthday, you're done. Does this change anything at all? Does this extend your time?
No, nothing changes. The only thing that just changes is that I get to have 2 belts at once and become the UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight champion at the same time. Do something that no one thought was possible. I mean, I'm a dream chaser, man. I'm chasing dreams. I've always been. I was the kid from Louisiana that is from a state that's not traditionally known for wrestling. They're known for football and basketball and baseball. And I was the kid that said, you know what, I can be just as good as the kids from California and New Jersey and everywhere else, Oklahoma, even though I'm from here. I've always never allowed for what people think is the norm to derail me. And I'm just doing that right now. I'm trying to do something that's unheard of. I know there's been 2 division champions. There's been guys that have been. Randy Couture had the light heavyweight belt and the heavyweight belt, but he didn't do it at the same time. Conor McGregor is the biggest star in mixed martial arts, and he held 2 titles at one time. And I'm about to actually do that too. So he's been on the cover of EA Sports 2 years in a row. Next year, I go on the cover of EA Sports UFC.
When you win the belt on July 7th, are you done at 205? Are you just going to stay at heavyweight? Because at that point, you know, I'm sure you're cutting weight. No, you're going to go. You think you'll go back down?
Yeah, I never said that I wasn't. I never said that I was abandoning this weight class forever. Because if I was saying that I was done at 205, wouldn't I just vacate the title right now?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just hold on to the belt. I wouldn't just hold on to the belt and hold up the division if I had no intention on ever going back. You know, that's not fair. You know, so no, I never said I was abandoning this weight class forever. I've never said that. This is a fight for the heavyweight title, and then we'll see what happens afterwards.
Once you agreed, once the news got out, once the dust settled over the weekend, you had time to digest it. Honestly now, at any point did you say to yourself, wow, this is amazing. July 30th, I'm on TV. I just got knocked out. I'm crying. Who knows what my future is? And this fight, this opportunity is the fight that's being talked about for Jon Jones, my greatest rival. He's going to go up to heavyweight. He's going to fight either Brock Lesnar or Stipe, which Dana revealed was the plan. And now here I am, almost fulfilling his destiny. This was supposed to be him on July 30th, and now I'm going to do it. Is this a little shot to your rival? Is this sticking it to him? Did that give you any sense of satisfaction?
It's surreal, right? It's surreal that if I could do this, like if and when I do this I keep saying if because I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound arrogant when I'm going up to fight the baddest man on the planet. But so I keep saying if, but I would never do anything without the idea that I was going to win. I believe I'm going to win this fight. But last year at that time, I was at my lowest, you know, and Selena and I, like, because I wouldn't let her do anything, we watched Game of Thrones 7 seasons in like 3 months because I didn't want to go anywhere. But next year, in 6 months, I could be accomplishing the ultimate goal, you know, and it's not a shot at Jones because, again, like I said, my career is not dictated by him anymore. The bigger thing in this whole sequence was once Jones said, it's one thing to go up and fight heavyweight, but it's a different thing to go up and fight a heavyweight that's really good. So my intention and my desire to fight anyone is the thing that stands out.
I'm sure you saw Alexander Gustafsson. He's not happy about this. What's your response to him?
Too late. Like, what are you doing? Like, you wait until the fight's already announced to say something? Like, it's too late, Alex. Like, what are you doing? Why didn't you say something before? Maybe he was doing it out of respect for me having the win that I had just had, but, man, it's like, it's too late. Like, you know, and to say that, look, I'll go fight him and rematch him afterwards, but this opportunity is way too big for me to pass up for a rematch with Alexander Gustafsson, where we didn't really do anything. We didn't really do business. Like, it's crazy how I get so many tweets and things about Alex and how much I fear Alex, how good Alex is, and all this other stuff. But god dang, guys, buy his pay-per-views. Buy his pay-per-views, and it would actually make him much more appealing than everybody. For a guy that has such a crazy following in terms of people that support him, it is unreal how few people actually pay to watch him fight.
There is a plan on the table that has been discussed to do 3 champion versus champion fights on that pay-per-view. You versus Stipe, DJ versus TJ, and Cyborg versus Nunes. Do you like this idea, or do you think that's too much to, you know, sort of separate fighter, you know, from analyst for a second, be the analyst, be the fan? Do you think that's tying up 6 divisions? Is that tricky, or is that kind of our version of, you know, the Super Bowl, WrestleMania? Why the hell not? Laissez le bon temps rouler, as they say back home.
Yeah, man, let the good times roll, you know? Like, I mean, I think it's okay because here's the deal, right? Out of those 6 champions, 5 of those weight classes don't necessarily have a true clear-cut person that the champions should be fighting, right? Like, who's Stipe supposed to fight next if they weren't willing to give Kane a title shot right away? Who am I supposed to fight next unless I just go into a rematch with Alexander? Who is Cyborg supposed to be fighting? I mean, with the whole, nobody knows what's going on with Megan Anderson. Who's right. Amanda supposed to fight next? I guess Raquel Pennington is like injured or something.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 of these champions don't have clear-cut number 1 contenders. So what's the issue? While we're doing these fights, why you put all these title fights on the same card, then you let the divisions kind of sort themselves out. So when we're done in July, come the end of the year, a new contender has truly shown themselves. Because Alexander, for as deserving as he is, he's won 2 fights, and he looked pretty good against Glover. But you know, Glover's a little bit slow, so he's going to look good against Glover. And against Jan Blachowicz, he was getting pieced up and had to start wrestling. Jan Blachowicz. He had to wrestle Jan Blachowicz.
Okay. How much do you expect to weigh on July 7th? I know it's early, but how much do you expect to weigh?
235, maybe.
Okay, wow. What a gift that's going to be, right?
I feel like at my best. What'd you say?
What a gift that's going to be, right?
Oh, it's going to be great to not cut weight. I mean, it's going to be amazing. But at my best, I was 235. When I fought Josh Barnett, I weighed 235. Anything smaller would be a problem because Stipe is a big, strong guy. But at 235, he'll probably weigh about 10 pounds more than I do.
Are you able to tell us who your coaching staff will be on Tough or not yet?
I think it's easy to figure out with me. I have the same guys. I'm just going to take my coaching staff.
Okay.
I'm going to take my coaching staff to go and help me coach these kids. I'm going to give them the opportunity to learn from the same staff that helped me and Kane and Luke become world champions.
You have a relationship with Stipe. You just filmed a show with him not that long ago, In the Clinch. Fantastic program on FS1. Is it weird to be fighting a guy that you're buddies with, that you're kind of, you know, you're cool with, you have respect for? You just spent the day with him at the firehouse. How do you feel about that?
I think it's cool. You know, it's going to be a respectful build to the fight. This one's based on competition and nothing more. This is based on my dream of doing something special and doing something unheard of. I have nothing against Stipe. I think he's a fantastic guy. I think he's a phenomenal father, husband, integral part of his community. But this is an opportunity to do something truly, truly special, and I can't pass it up.
2 more. If you win on July 7th, are you the greatest ever?
I win this fight July 7th. I'm the greatest fighter of all time. I've done something that was unheard of, and that's what I've always chased. Right? I've always chased it. I chased it in the fights with Jones, because even regardless of the belt, I would always say, once I beat Jones, I will be the greatest fighter of all time. So I believe that once I do this, I think something that was so crazy that no one even has attempted it, I feel like I'm in the conversation for the best fighter of all time.
I certainly agree with that. Now the big one, the one I've been dying to ask you, what did you think of Ronda Rousey's debut Sunday night at the Royal Rumble?
I thought it was cool.
Give me the breakdown.
It was cool, So like, I sat through the whole entire Royal Rumble, right, the Women's Rumble, hoping that she was one of the fighters. And number 30 came, and it was Trish Stratus, which was pretty cool. But it wasn't Ronda, so I was like, oh my goodness, they did this to us. And then it was cool to see her walk to the ring and point to the WrestleMania logo. Don't truly understand the meaning of it. Like, she doesn't really have a rivalry with any of those people. Maybe it was just to get her out in front of the crowd, see the reaction. But I'm interested to see what becomes of this, because I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't ready yet to go into the Royal Rumble, right? Because if they would have rushed her and she looked bad, it would have been much worse than just kind of holding her back, giving her months to prepare to make her debut. But yeah, very excited. Happy for Ronda. So happy for Ronda that she's doing something she loves.
I have to ask though, like the reaction from the MMA fans, they don't seem to be all that excited for her. Like you say, you're happy for her, and she seemed genuinely happy. I'm concerned about her acting skills. I'm concerned about her mic skills. That's her issue now. She has to figure it out. Personally, I think she should team up with Paul Heyman, and he should be her mouthpiece. So that's neither here nor there. But do you feel like the fans maybe feel like she turned her back to them? She never said goodbye properly. She never addressed the losses. She won't address the losses. And unlike you and Connor and other people who have suffered great defeats, you dust yourself off, you talk, there seems to be a disconnect now. They don't feel like she's one of them going off to do great things. And I find it fascinating when talking to someone like you, who's always sort of been, open with his setbacks like he is with his triumphs. There's something missing there. Do you sense that as well, that the fans just aren't happy for her like maybe they should be?
I mean, I think it's weird, because like she chooses not to discuss it. That's her right. Like people deal with loss in their own ways. And obviously Ronda doesn't feel comfortable or doesn't want to deal with it in the way that we did. People deal with it differently. Would it be, if she was to do it, it's a massive weight off your chest if you're able and willing to discuss it and try to move past it. But what does she have to move past now? She's not in the sport anymore, and she's getting paid millions of dollars to do something else. I mean, look, they can love her, they can hate her. It ain't going to change her paycheck, and she's going to be Ronda Rousey. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I think she's going to approach this in the way that she wants to approach it, and obviously she has made it pretty clear that she won't discuss those losses or discuss those setbacks.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. DC, you're the man. I can't thank you enough. I promise. I don't even know if I can promise I won't bother you again, because you continue to be in the news. You are, a perpetual newsmaker in this business. But I think I will leave you alone for at least a few weeks. Good luck out there. It starts this week, right?
It starts this week. We leave tomorrow. I'm taking off. This is it. I'm taking a couple weeks off of the MMA Hour.
Wow.
I'm out.
Now I feel like you're mad at me. Now I'm going to be all self-conscious about it.
I'm not mad at all.
Oh, God.
I'm not mad at all, man. It's been great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Good luck on the show and, of course, training. I have a feeling I'll talk to you before the fight on July 7th. But congratulations and best of luck to you out in Vegas.
Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate it.
All right. There he is. The light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Cormier, the man who will look to make history on July 7th. Day before my 36th birthday, by the way. You don't care about that. When he fights Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title.